What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Day, and this is the Black Owned Spotlight Show, where I get a chance to sit down with some of today's most influential and inspirational Black business owners and open your mind to life beyond a 9-to-5. So today I have a very special guest here with me. If you guys saw my interview with Rayface and Boosie, this is the man that was basically responsible for giving me that opportunity. Mr. Marvin, founder of CEO Supervision. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. And I want to thank you again on camera for that because some opportunities came after that, and I don't know if I could have did that without you. Or Shy. She's off camera. But all right, so CEO Supervision, we're just going to jump right into it.
Let's jump into it.
We discussed off camera that it used to be Supervision,
yes,
and then it became CEO Supervision.
Yes.
So explain that before we jump into actually what you do.
Okay, so initially, without any paperwork, I started the company as Supervision, but I was doing it, again, once without paperwork, and I was just working with different clients and doing what I was doing. However, we transitioned to, I guess, getting a larger client who was on TV. And then someone with the name Supervision actually reached out stating that I wasn't able to use that name. And so I wanted to do a clothing line, which I don't want to get too deep into because I'm still working out the logistics of everything on that. Upscale line with, like cufflinks and things like that. So,
like designer?
Yes.
Okay.
So the CEO stood for Commit, Evolve, Overcome. And so that was the clothing line which I wanted to present, and I just kind of combined the clothing line with the management and marketing firm, and it became what it became. Commit,
Evolve, Overcome.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that? That's very clever. I thought it was just me because he was the CEO.
No, I feel like in order to accomplish something, you have to commit to whatever it is that you're doing in order to evolve, and then you overcome whatever the obstacles are within fulfilling that, journey of doing what you're doing. So the Commit, Evolve, Overcome just, kind of became that because of how we transitioned the management and marketing firm to the clothing line.
Okay, cool. Well, before we jump into like your backstory, because I always like to get into that,
right,
let the people know exactly what CEO Supervision is, what services you offer, what do you do?
So I am a entertainment consultant, and that is dealing with everything in entertainment. So we have individual clients and we have companies. So we have, stores. It could be a clothing store, it could be an insurance firm, it could be anything, a car lot. Everything needs marketing and everything needs to be managed.
Exactly.
But mainly within entertainment, that's what we deal with.
So did you always want to be in the entertainment industry? Like, how did that come about for you?
So I didn't think that this would be my profession initially. I thought I was going to be a football player, actually. So no, I didn't think.
See it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still got a little bit of the physique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
But no, I thought I was going to be a football player. So initially that's what I was doing, and then all of my relatives and my dad are into music. So my dad is a gospel singer. So I was a church kid. I grew up in the church and around music, and once I knew I wasn't going to play sports, I transitioned to music, and then I went to school for it, and it just kind of happened over time.
So did you go to school to be a consultant, or were you originally trying to do this, or was it like you went to school for something in music and then kind of fell into just to consulting?
It's funny because I went to school for management, but I went to a community college. In the midst of going to that community college, of course, that's only 2 years.
Yeah.
The school that I went to after initially didn't have a management curriculum, and so I switched to marketing. And so when they did, I was in my senior year in college when they did get the management, curriculum. And so I minored in management and I majored in marketing.
Management, marketing. Well, it all worked out, it seems like.
Yeah.
And are you enjoying being a consultant? Do you want to switch to another industry eventually? Are you going to stay in the entertainment industry?
I'm enjoying transitioning.
Okay.
Because I really started with management, and I was managing a lot of clients, and initially that was fun.
Yeah.
And then it became babysitting over time, and then when you get so many of them, it's just like having one kid, you're excited the first time, and then after the second, third, fourth one, it's like I've been through this already, and the kid's troublesome, and you got to do the same things over and over. So, yeah.
Yeah. So management essentially is babysitting somebody?
Yeah, babysitting on steroids.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Well, speaking of, we're not going to go into you being a parent yet, but I do want to talk about your move from Chicago to Houston. What made you make that move? How did that happen?
One of the biggest reasons is my sister, she lived in Houston. And so that was one of my main reasons for coming. And then also being in Chicago, if you know anything about Chicago, it's a lot of, killings going on and, stuff like that. So I just didn't want my kids to have to grow up in that because I grew up in it. So I got a chance to witness it firsthand and didn't want them to. So I knew I wanted to leave Chicago. I didn't know where exactly. And then my sister being here just kind of helped.
So you were doing entertainment and entertainment consulting in Chicago, and then you just picked up and came to Houston.
To be honest with you, I was really just playing football when I was in Chicago.
Okay.
Once I graduated, I went back to Chicago and I started my company. And then I started my company, but I started working for another company in the midst of starting my own company. And so once I started to, I guess, get the ropes or learn the ropes and understand like how it worked, I figured I could do it on my own. And so I ventured off and started doing it on my own. And then in the midst of, just working for myself, I transitioned to Houston. So it was more like a fresh start. So my company was really new in Chicago, so people wasn't used to me doing what I'm doing now in Chicago. Okay. They knew me for something different.
So I've been thinking about long and hard about moving to Atlanta. I've decided that I'm not gonna make that move yet. I'm not gonna make that move until it just feels right in my spirit. But what are some tips that you can give for somebody who is looking to relocate and kind of just start fresh, especially in the entertainment industry in a new city? What advice can you give them?
I would say plant the seeds first, because I made an abrupt move. So I just literally just moved from Chicago to Houston, didn't know people, I didn't have any type of foundation. I wasn't ready. So now I'm actually going to Miami frequently. Like I've been to Miami 4 or 5 times in the last 2 months.
Okay.
And so I go out there quite a bit. I'm developing relationships. I'm planting seeds, I'm getting the clientele out there. I'm making the right connections. So as I do transition to going to different places, I already have some type of clientele or some type of foundation. So when I do, or if I do decide to make a move, I already have clientele and people that I can work with in order to do certain things.
Okay, so you're not from Houston?
No, I'm from Chicago.
Okay, cool. So are you planning to move to Florida then?
It's an option. It's an option.
Okay.
It's an option.
Now, I know that'd be nice. Miami too?
Yeah. South Beach then. Specifically. Trying to take my talents to South Beach.
So Marvin, founder of CEO Supervision. What does networking mean to you in this industry that you work in?
I think it's half and half. A lot of people put more emphasis on who you know, but you can know the people and not know what you need to know in order to capitalize on those opportunities.
Okay.
So just as well as you need to know the people, you need to know your field or whatever the market is for that field. So I think they go hand in hand.
You think they go hand in hand?
Yeah, you can't put more emphasis on one than the other.
When you were when you made the move, because you said it was abrupt from Chicago to Houston, was it hard for you to network and things like that? What did you have to do to really get your name out there?
Shit, it felt impossible at the time. I was going out every night. Like for the first 2-3 years of me relocating, I was literally going out every night, shaking hands with different people, going to different clubs, different events. It could be pop-up shops, whatever it is, I was going. And so in the midst of me going out, people wanted to know what I did, and it was hard for me to just kind of pinpoint exactly what I did, because I felt like I do management, but I do marketing. Yeah. Then I also, I make the connections to different people because I had some connections to some celebrities and things like that. So it was just kind of like I was a space filler for whatever was needed. Yeah. So it was kind of hard to tell people exactly what I did. So in the midst of figuring out how to pinpoint exactly what to tell people that I do, I had to make the connections and still know the information that I needed to know in order to, make the connection and then, move forward with it. Because it's one thing to have a contact in your phone, but it's how do you use it? Exactly.
So that has been my thing. I feel like when I started day-to-day TV and everything, it was I know people who know people, and they'd be like, I'm gonna send you so and so's number. Use it. For what?
And that's the biggest thing. You have to figure out how to be useful to other people.
Exactly.
Because what you do may not always fit for one person, so you have to cater to the person that you're trying to do some type of business or interact with. Because for this person you might need to do an interview, for that person you might need to connect them to somebody else. And so I think my PR team does a great job of that. So I've been working with Code Black, and they've been making those connections and just putting me with the right people and helping me to maneuver.
Yeah, shout out to Code Black, shout out to
Code
Shy.
Black. Yeah.
They're behind the camera, you guys, so I'm just waving at them. So naturally, with you going out and networking, I know eventually you had probably opportunities coming your way left and right. And I think that one of the dilemmas that I've been going through is opportunity, praying for opportunities and things like that, and then they come your way and you're like, well, now which ones do I take, which ones do I leave? Because it's like you don't want to take them on and overwhelm yourself, but you don't want to take the wrong ones. So how do you go about knowing which opportunities to take and which ones to leave alone?
What I was always told was don't step over $1 to pick up a nickel. And so, with that being said, you have to understand sometimes you may be in a good place and the grass may not be green on the other side. So you have to really weigh your options and see what's the best for you at that moment. Because something may not be better for you in the long run, but it might be better for you at that moment. And some might be better for you in the long run. It may not be better for you in that moment. So you have to weigh those options and figure out what's the difference between the two and make the best decision for you.
I'm gonna, you said don't step over $1 to pick up a nickel. What's some advice that you can give people in regards to, if they are presented with an opportunity and let's say it may not be the best for them in the moment, but it might help them in the long run? Should they take it? Should they leave it?
I think that's situational. I think that's situational. But I think the biggest thing is to understand where you are at that moment in your life. So you have to figure out financially where you're at, mentally, spiritually. If you do have kids and things like that, what is that going to mean if you take this next opportunity as opposed to staying where you are? So, taking the opportunity may mean relocating to another city or state, which means you may have to leave kids behind. So I think that's all situational, but you do have to take into consideration where you are in your life in that moment.
Okay. And then I also want to touch on the fact that when I was doing my research on you, you had dreadlocks. And I made a comment that you cut off your dreads and you look so different. So in the industry that you're in, is image a really big thing? Would you say that image matters more so in your field or just in management and marketing overall?
Overall. I think if you was doing something if you were doing a customer service job where you're over the phone, it doesn't really matter because you're over the phone. They only can hear your voice. But whenever you deal with people and you have to be face to face, your image is obviously the first thing that people see. So when you step out or when you step in front of people, you go to different places and you shake people's hand, before you get there, they look at you and physically see your appearance. So appearance is always important, and it's extremely important in this field.
Did somebody tell you to cut your hair off?
My daughter.
How old is she?
Now she's 11, but I think she told me when she was about 7 or 8.
How did it go though? Daddy, cut your hair off.
we were actually watching TV one day, and my hair was on her shoulder because my hair was extremely long.
It was.
So she told me, she said, "Daddy, why your hair so long?" And I said, "I like it. What's wrong with it?" She said, "Long hair for girls." And it just started to just weigh on me. It was in the back of my head. Every time I went to go get it twisted or edge up or something, it was always in the back of my head. So I just always thought about that. And I was like, you know what? My son has short hair. My daughter says long hair for girls. So you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and cut it.
How much time between her making that comment and you cutting your hair was there? A month?
About a year.
A year? Okay. So you thought about it for a minute because your hair was very long. And I know that's a spiritual thing for some people, cutting their hair off and it's ties to other things, but...
That last year, I started to just grow it out underneath, so I stopped getting it twisted so I could have hair underneath when I cut it.
Smart.
So
Smart man.
I really just went nappy for almost a year and then eventually cut it. So everybody was surprised when I did it because I was like, I'm gonna come out. I told her just to see what she was gonna say, and she was like, "You're not gonna cut it," because I had it for so long. So
okay.
I had it for about 17 years.
So you mentioned you have 2 kids. And you told me that your kids do live in San Antonio.
Yes.
How do you work that out with their mother? Like, is it hard for you guys to cooperate with each other? Do you guys have a good relationship to be able, for you to be able to execute what you need to execute while your kids are taken care of?
I think we've come to an understanding. I think we've come to an understanding. I think it takes a lot for two people to co-parent who don't have the same views.
Yeah.
When you have two people with totally different schedules, when you have an entrepreneur and then a 9-to-5, you have someone that thinks, it's okay to, just hypothetically speaking, okay to have lipstick on or something, and you don't. You know what I mean? Like when you have different views, different opinions, you live in two different places, you have two different lifestyles, it's hard to come together for one common goal. So I think right now we have understanding of where we both are, which helps us to co-parent at this moment.
That's very important. How is that so as an entrepreneur, do you feel like you could date somebody with a 9-to-5 again? Or with your lifestyle, would you more so want another entrepreneur?
That's a really good question. I think throughout the duration of this interview, I don't think I had any issues until that question.
Can you answer it?
I think personally, it depends on the woman.
Okay.
I think if the woman is completely understanding of your lifestyle, what you do, how you move, and how you operate, and is supportive of that, then it's possible, no matter what she does.
Okay.
But I think it depends on, and I'm just saying that from my standpoint. I want to make it clear, like I'm saying from the woman to me.
Yeah.
But your partner should be completely supportive. As long as that person is supportive, I don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
But they have to completely understand what it is you do, how you move. They can't be insecure about you being on day-to-day TV. They have to be understanding, like, these are things that you have to do. You're going to be in places with a lot of women. You're going to be around, people of the opposite sex. So if they understand that and they're comfortable and secure within themselves, I don't think it matters.
I feel like, though, even with somebody that has somebody that's an entrepreneur dating another entrepreneur, they could still not understand. Yeah. Because she could own a boutique or something like that, whereas she doesn't have to be around a whole bunch of entertainers and stuff like that, and she could still not understand your lifestyle. So yeah, I guess the biggest thing that you said is understanding and supporting. Yeah. Me, on the other hand, no, I'm just playing. We're not gonna get into me. This is about you.
Now tell us about you.
I mean, I don't feel like, my whole thing with feeling like, I would want to date somebody who's kind of in the same lane that I'm in, or like trying to get to, is just our schedules. Because I already have a son. That takes a lot of time out of my schedule already. Right. So if I'm dealing with somebody that works a 9-to-5, they may not be understanding of the fact that I do have to be out as well, and in the clubs and in people's spaces and interviewing men and stuff like that. But they also may not understand that, I don't really have time like that. When I'm chilling, you're at work. And when you're at home, I'm probably out. So I feel like we would be two ships passing in the night. And so, because I don't work 9-to-5 anymore, I'm not gonna say that I would totally be like, oh no, I can't date a man that works 9-to-5, but he would have to really be working with me, so.
Understanding and support.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed this conversation today. I didn't know it was gonna go to all these places. So my last question that I like to ask everybody, for you it's going to be two questions, because you are in the entertainment industry and you are an entrepreneur. And I know there's a lot of people that want to be entrepreneurs. There's also a lot of people that want to work in the entertainment industry. What advice do you have for people that want to be entrepreneur, regardless of what field they're trying to go into? And then what advice do you have for people that want to break into the entertainment industry and not necessarily be a musician or anything like that?
What I like to tell people is always give yourself different routes that you can take. Just think about when you GPS something, for example. It'll give you like route A, route B, route C, and then you can either take the one with tolls, without tolls, the fastest way, the shortest way, but it'll all still get you to the same point. So if you do have a place that you want to get to, just understand that there's different routes you can take, because whenever you're thinking one-dimensional, you'll come to a roadblock and you won't know another way that you can go in order to continue on your path. So don't ever think it's just a one-way street to success when you're dealing with entrepreneurship. So definitely give yourself different options.
Okay. And then working in the entertainment industry, not necessarily trying to be a musician?
Entertainment, understand that you have to balance your relationships with understanding and having knowledge of the field that you're in. Because, you know, you can be put in a place to where the people around you will introduce you to certain people and you'll develop those relationships with those people, and they could potentially turn into business. But if you don't have the knowledge on the field that you're in, then you won't know exactly how to, you know, manage that relationship, which at that point you have a relationship that you can't do anything with. So you have to balance the knowledge along with the relationships.
Okay. Well, I hope that you guys got a lot out of this interview, because I surely did. I don't work in entertainment per se, but it just kind of seems like that's where it's kind of leaning towards. So I appreciated the advice as well, because I feel like I had the relationships, but I'm working on the knowledge part. So, yeah.
I definitely appreciate you having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Before we get out of here, let the people know where they can find you, how they can get in contact with you, get your services, all of that.
You can reach me at CEO Supervision, or you can actually reach out to my PR team, Cold Black, BLK.
I don't think you said that loud enough.
Say it louder?
Yeah, say it louder.
All right, you ready? Just go in.
No, we're gonna keep this, but I'm just saying, Cold Black, these ladies, I want to bring them on camera, but they have really been putting things together today. I just need to make sure everybody hears that that's Cold Black, right?
You ready?
Okay. Any place else you want to plug?
No, that's it. That's it.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching this episode. You guys can find me on Instagram at Day to Day TV. The show is also on Instagram at the Black Owned Spotlight Show. And on YouTube, you can find this show on Day to Day TV. You should be watching this on YouTube. And if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe right now and press that notification bell so you can see whenever we post a new episode, video, anything like that. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope that you tune in to the next episode of the Black Owned Spotlight Show. Thank you, Marvin.
Thank you.
And I hope that you guys continue to prosper. Have a great day.